big area.
Yeah.
They found dozens and dozens and dozens of hog bones stacked up neatly in this.
What?
The hog farmers had been complaining, thinking it's other predators taking their baby hogs that are being born. They're just disappearing off the farm left and right. And so they put two and two together when all people are starting to report dog man and weird sounds and stuff coming from the immediate area. That is probably dog man, or it could have been Sasquatch taking these hogs and eating them and stacking up the bones. But it was very neatly done, almost like a trophy room.
People say that I'm one of the greats, I'm the one that you love to hate. Shake 'em up like a quake, pop your feelings and turn and dispose them like haters I throw away. I'm forever blessed, got the spirit that's wholly controlling me, I ain't gotta coordinate. I just sit back and buckle my bells and I'm ready to blast in the stars of my destination. Melted broadcast, open vision, melted broadcast, open vision, melted broadcast, open vision, melted broadcast, open vision.
All right, what's going on, everyone? This is Tony Mars
And Mary Bly.
with the Melted Broadcast. And today we have Carter Buschardt, who is a 15-year veteran Bigfoot investigator with the BFRO, originally from Texas and now living in Missouri. He has authored nearly 100 published reports, interviewed over 500 witnesses, and visited many of their properties. A boots-on-the-ground researcher and trained MUFON investigator, Carter specializes in long-term habituation sites, stick structures, infrasound, and Sasquatch behavior. He is the author of 6 books, including his latest, Baptized by Abduction, which details his own childhood alien abduction in Dallas, Texas in 1959 and the events that followed.
Welcome, Carter.
What's going on, Carter?
Well, not much. I'd rather be in here than doing yard work. So let's talk for hours and hours.
Yeah, me too. That's for sure. Well, you're from Texas. You know about this Texas heat.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm living in Missouri now, but yeah, I was born and raised in Dallas. You know, the people here when they bellyache about the heat, I'm going, you're just a bunch of weenies.
They've
Yeah.
never lived in
It's
Texas.
100 degrees at 10 o'clock at night in Texas. What are you worried about?
Right. Yeah. Thanks.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into this Sasquatch research?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird road, but yeah, I when I was 13, I saw In Search of with Leonard Nimoy, and that's
Oh,
the
okay.
first time I ever saw the Patty film. And so when I was, looking at that, I went, "Well, that's real." Next, I just knew it. It didn't occur to me that it wasn't real. Of course, I was 13. I, wasn't sure if everything you see on TV is real or not. But
Yeah.
uh, that's what introduced me to Sasquatch in general. Now, fast forward to 25, 30 years ago, my wife and I made a trip to Washington State. And I thought, well, naively, well, maybe we'll get a cabin in the woods. Maybe we'll have the luck of, seeing a Sasquatch, probably not, but you never know. And so we went and rented a cabin from a couple of guys in Washington State. Now, that was the year that marijuana became legal in
Oh, wow.
Washington State. And so we were warned by several people, including the guys that rented the cabin, says you really got to watch where you go in the woods because the illegal growers were still protecting with armed protection
No
their
way.
stash. They're still growing pot in the woods. And so they hadn't weeded them all out, no pun intended. You know, but you know what I mean? We weren't worried about it. We were just, two tourists. We're going to go out and walk in the woods. So walking in the woods, having a great time, just seeing nature and exploring the deep, deep woods, which I had never been in before, and had to go take a leak. So I stepped behind a tree, and down at the bottom of the tree, I find this ammo box, military ammo box, and it was chained to the tree. I'm going, oh my God, this thing's a bomb waiting to go off. I didn't know what it was, but I finished my business. I was looking down at it. I said, I got to see what this is because I'm not sure what it is. And I was curious. And so I opened it up and it wasn't a bomb, thank God, because here I am still talking to you.
Yeah.
And so, have you heard of geocache?
I have not.
It's a game that you play all over the world. It's called geocache, CACHE, and you're given coordinates, longitude, latitude coordinates. And you go out into the woods or into the world, and you find the coordinates, and you'll find a box or something, and you open it up, and you leave something of yours, and you take something that's in the box to let people know. You sign your name, Carter Buschardt, from Kansas City, Missouri. It's called geocache. It's all over the world. Everybody is aware of it. I've never played it, but anyway. So
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
something
like the same
that,
thing.
but-
It's a worldwide phenomenon. I don't know how big it is now anymore. But anyway, when I reached in, I pulled out a business card for a Sasquatch investigator, and I knew right then I'm supposed to find this. I'm supposed to go digging for Sasquatch, and that's what got me into the Sasquatch research. I closed the box, left whatever I left. I took the card with me and called the guy when we got back to Kansas City. And long story short, I became a leader of expeditions. They fired the guy they had, and I became the leader, and I was leading expeditions for BFRO in Kansas City in Missouri. So that's how I got into it. And
now go ahead. No, I was gonna say, so what is the BFRO?
Bigfoot Field Research Organization, BFRO.net. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, we have heard of them. We had interviewed a guy a while back who was a part of it, but I was asking for people who don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We've only had a handful of guests, talk about Bigfoot and Sasquatch. So
yeah. Well, so I when you do this, you're leading expeditions, but you're also fielding reports from people. People will call into BFRO, they leave their name, number, email, and the story they want to tell, the report. I saw a Sasquatch, this, that, and the other. So, I started doing reports because it was just fascinating. I was leading expeditions in specific in Mark Twain National Forest in Kansas, in Missouri. And so a lot of these people lived down in that area. So it was very intriguing to me to talk to them and find out what they were doing. So I started interviewing people, and that was 10, 12 years ago. And people were really reluctant to talk about the things that were going on their property because these people had lived with the Sasquatch, the forest people living on their property for years, decades, generations, and so, but when I was doing the reports and interviewing the witnesses, they would tell me about, well, Grandpa used to see them do weird stuff, like they, fall out of a tree and they'd walk through the tree and come out the backside, and an orb would appear in the yard, and a Sasquatch, as the orb got bigger, a Sasquatch appeared, and then it disappeared the same way. And they were trying to tell me weird events, but they would also say it was on my grandpa's property. I never experienced them. We saw them, but we never experienced the paranormal, the weird stuff.
Yeah.
We started seeing a pattern because they did not want to be ridiculed. So I started interviewing them a different way. I said, look, because some of these people, I had their connections, their Facebook pages, and I could see that the things they were telling me, they were leaving some of the stuff out. And what they were doing was they didn't want to be ridiculed and made fun of, like people do. Say you believe you saw a Sasquatch. Oh, right. What are you drinking? What are you smoking?
Right.
I get it all the time.
Yeah, you get garbage. No matter what it is, whether it's UFOs, Sasquatch, ghosts, the pale whites, any kind of, cryptids, dog man, whatever.
Yeah.
so people just don't want to put up with that. So they will just gloss over it. They just won't say anything. So I started squeezing a couple of people a little extra hard and getting them to tell me what was really going on. I said, I'm not going to put your name out there. I'm not going to put your location. No one's ever going to know who this is or where you live because you sent me the report. I have all that data. Mm. And I want to know what's really, because I had already had, when I led my first expedition, I had a quantum paranormal event right out of science fiction. And from that point on, I knew there was much more to them than a dumb ape. They were not dumb apes by any stretch.
What happened?
You know? And I said, well, what happened was I was on my first expedition. I was leading the expedition. And we had about 23, 24 people. I sent a group of 10 to leave our base camp. And they were going to go around in about a 1 mile circle, mile and a half so, and come back around through the woods and end up back right where they started. And we were going to sit there and maintain radio contact, tell us what you see, what you're experiencing, and all that kind of stuff. So they could have a chance to see, because they're all brand new people.
Yeah.
Well, they got lost, number one. Number two, we had horrible radio contact because we were down in a holler. And so it was all broken up chatter. You couldn't hear him. It was horrifying. It was very, frustrating. So I said, okay, everybody, we're going to sit here quiet at night, radio silence. We're not going to see, say, do anything. We're not going to move around. I got to talk these people back in. So I was the only guy with a thermal camera. So I was looking through the forest, looking to see if I could see heat signatures. At the time, I did see a few other things, some deer and owls and birds. But so and finally, I started hearing something walking through the woods, and I was certain it was them. So I said, "Okay, everybody, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. I think we got them here." And I was watching through the brush, and I was seeing intermittent slips of a large somebody walking in the woods. I thought, well, I knew it was them. Well, it wasn't them. It was a Sasquatch, my first expedition. It came around the bend. It took one step and it saw us all sitting there. And I gasped. I gave us away. I went. So anyway, it vanished. It took one step and it exploded. I couldn't see it. It was like 1,000 flashbulbs went off from one spot. I was blinded. I was, looking like this. And I went, that's not them. And it was gone. It just vanished. Now, the people that brought me into this group were ape only. There's no paranormal, sci-fi, quantum. They're just dumb apes.
Yeah.
That haven't discovered. The government knows about them. They're just not releasing the information because they want to protect the population in the national forest. Bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my baptism into the paranormal aspects of Sasquatch. I never looked back. I took the road that goes to the left, and I stayed on that road up until today because I've seen and experienced some things, and the people are coming out of the woodwork telling me all the stuff they're finally been hiding for years and decades. So so that's how I got into the reports. Now, when people were finally comfortable, they would start telling me all the things that have been going on. And most of them had moved on to Grandpa's farm after Grandpa passed away. So all the times they've been there visiting and mentioning these things on their Facebook pages, but not on the report to the BFRO.
Yeah.
Then okay, what about this? What about that? So that's where I got into the habituation. And I have about 12 families right now that I won't say manage, but we are in constant communication, and they send me photos or events, tell me what's going on. I go visit their property whenever I can. It's an awesome thing. And I experience things. I get photos. I get all these incredible events that they're experiencing. And it's flooding. It's flooding into my email weekly. I got something 2 days ago. It just never stops. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. So that's kind of how I got into doing the reports, and I have 100 published to BFRO. I had probably 250 or 300 that I looked into, and a lot of them weren't published. A lot of them were not worth publishing. Some of them were scams or hoaxes.
Yeah,
You you
I would
can figure
imagine.
you can figure that stuff out pretty quick.
So with all these photos and stuff from these families that they're sending you, what was the most, I guess, like the most exciting that hands down, this is 100%, Sasquatch?
Well, there's two of them. I will show you one, and you won't see anything like this anywhere. Wish the screen was bigger, but here we go.
Oh. Yeah, you can see that. Can you see that?
I can't really tell.
What? You can't see that face?
Oh, yeah, I see the face.
I mean,
What is that, like a window?
No, it is a grow house. This family grows fruits and vegetables for a lot of farmers markets out in the country, rural Missouri. And so they have 5 or 6 Quonset huts. You know what those are? Kind
Yeah.
of the curved, with metal rods like this, like military buildings, and they have heavy plastic stretched over it. Now in the winter, they pump in from propane heaters warm air so nothing freezes and they don't lose all their crop and everything. So they have pipes going in. Like there's 2 Quonset hoods. Here's one, and the furnace is right here where my face is, and the pipe's going out to the side, and it's pumping in moisture, well, the warm air. Well, that creates the condensation that you're looking at. And what these Sasquatch do, there's several stories that go with this. They have the juvenile Sasquatches will go in and they watch for the humans coming while their rest of their families in there stealing fruits and vegetables out of the grow hut. Now, the kid that caught them this one night, he's the one that sent me the photo, and that was a juvenile. And I've got 4 or 5 other photos, not as good as that, but with 4 or 5 little, even smaller faces, all dotting around. And you see these handprints up there. They're all just pushing their faces up, innocently as can be. They have no idea what they're doing. They're leaving a fingerprint like crazy, and the face is on there. Yeah, and so when he went in one night, he got an alarm. He went in, and there was a juvenile Sasquatch in that grow hut stealing vegetables. It freaked out. It ran out the front door right by him. It brushed up against him. Literally, they
Wow.
touched. They could have kissed. Now, I know these people. I've been to the property. Most of my people that live out in this area are good Christian folk, God-fearing people. They wouldn't lie they just aren't the types.
Yeah.
I've got to know them. They just wouldn't do that. And they've been sharing some incredible stuff. So why would you fake stuff if no one knows your name or who you are or where you live, so they
Yeah.
can make you even more famous? They want to live in privacy because they are having the time of their life interacting with the Sasquatch people. It's crazy. They've been shown newborns. They walk around in broad daylight, back away from the operation, but they can see them in the woods walking around, kind of keeping an eye on what's going on. They can see my people working. My people can see them walking through the woods, and they can interact daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, or not at all. It's just an unspoken truce. I know you're here. We know that we're here. And anytime you want to interact, and that usually involves gifting or something of
Yeah.
that nature. But they've got a lot of activity on this property. And they just saw the kid who operates most of the stuff for them sent me, I think last October, November, a picture of a dog man not a picture of a dog man, but a picture of the damage it had done to one of the grow houses. He was in the grow house one afternoon, trimming plants, getting rid of dead fruits and vegetables, and just cleaning everything up. About 3:30 in the afternoon, broad daylight, and he's just minding his own business, doing his work, and he sees a dog man just walking up. It's about 5 foot tall, probably a juvenile, and it starts running its claw on the plastic, very inquisitively, like he'd never seen it or touched it. He was just really fascinated. He's doing this and just really studying it.
Like
And
curious.
he's watching this going on, and it's turning its head like this. It's got little floppy ears. He described it. It's got the back assward legs and a snout. It was black. It had claws that were a couple inches long at least. And he was just standing there watching, and it suddenly sees him. And so he's not freaking out, and neither is this dog man. It's doing this, looking at him like, and his ears are flopping. I mean, just like a shaggy, just a
Yeah.
dog. It's just doing this, you know. And then it goes back to playing with the plastic. Then it sticks little holes, makes a hole, makes a circle of holes, about 5 or 6 holes, just and it's popping, pop, pop. Then he takes a claw and runs it down about a foot and slices it open 1 foot and turns around and walks off into the woods.
Has there been any other kind of these dogman sightings, like aside from that one in that area?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just starting to get dogman reports from a lot of my people. And honestly, when I've been out in the woods at night, many, many, many hundreds of times, seeing the silhouettes moving around, as you know, if you've been out at night, you see silhouettes moving in the woods, moonlit at night. You can see stuff. They're obviously bipedal and upright. You're going,
Yeah.
God, that's huge. I don't know what I just always assume they're Sasquatch, but dogman have now been creeping into the reports, and some of what I saw could have been dogman. I just didn't know what I was looking at because you're looking at a silhouette
Mhm.
in the middle of the night. You don't know what it is. You assume it's one thing, but it could be one of two
Yeah.
things. So, but near where they live, I can't give you specifics, is a silver mine. And there's also a giant hog farm. Now, all of a sudden in the last year, there's been reports coming out about people seeing dogman. And in one of these silver mines, there's a big cave that goes in before it gets to the actual tunneling. There's a big area.
Yeah.
They found dozens and dozens and dozens of hog bones stacked up neatly in this.
What?
The hog farmers had been complaining, thinking it's other predators taking their baby hogs that are being born. They're just disappearing off the farm left and right. And so they put two and two together when all people are starting to report dog man and weird sounds and stuff coming from the immediate area, that is probably dog man, or it could have been Sasquatch taking these hogs and eating them and stacking up the bones. But it was very neatly done, almost like a trophy room.
That's
The
wild.
bones were stacked. I mean, just very neatly put together.
Mm.
And I don't see humans doing that just for the sake of it. I mean, why would you
Right.
sit
Yeah.
stack dead animal bones when you could be surprised and get eaten anyway? You could be in that stack next week if you don't watch it. So,
Yeah.
so I'm starting to get reports just now. I have another family that I deal with. It's over near the St. Louis area. He sees Dogman fairly regularly because he's a truck driver. He gets up about 3:30 in the morning, and they deliver whatever he's going to deliver to his house, and then he loads the truck at night, and then he goes out first thing in the morning and does it. And so, but he has seen them several times at that time of morning, and I have video that he has sent me, and it looks for everything. You're looking right at this camera, and there's this creature. You just see a side of the face walking toward this trail camera.
Yeah.
And all it turns and turns around because it looks like it notices the camera, stops and turns around and walks back the way it came from because it's camera. I got to get out of here. But you see this long talk. It's nothing. It's anything. It's nothing other than a dog ear on one side. It's crazy.
That's
There's about
wild.
I took there's 22 frames in that video. Every other frame I took out and made a still of the ear and the head as it was approaching. So I've got a sequence of the creature walking toward the camera. Then all of a sudden, when it turns to walk away, you see this ear, and you go, "That's nothing but a Sasquatch or a dog man. That's nothing but it looks more like a dog man." It's bizarre.
Yeah, I know you like you always hear stories about, seeing all these Sasquatch and stuff, and I've heard, a bunch of stories, but you also hear stories of Dogman, but I've never heard anyone who actually encountered. I've only heard like the tall tales. So
Yeah,
that's very interesting that, you actually know someone and have seen actual
yeah.
evidence of this.
Well, they now he has seen them, and his wife, she's a retired minister. Like I was saying, these people are all God fearing people. uh, and that's not to say that some people can't fudge, but again, they have nothing to gain from it because nobody
Yeah.
knows who they are. Oh, I saw your picture on the internet, Betty. Oh, you look so good.
Yeah.
You know, nobody knows because they don't want anybody on or near their property. This family I'm talking about, when they first moved onto the property, they had two peacocks and they were killed, disemboweled. All the soft tissue items were taken: the stomach, the heart, the lungs, the intestines. That's all the high protein stuff. And they left the carcass.
Mm.
They just took all the guts out of it. Now, two of them were killed. And they knew right
Dang.
away what it was. And they have since started seeing them. They've had chats with them. You do not touch my livestock. You do not touch my fruits and vegetables. I have all kinds of people say, you leave my food alone. That's how we feed our family and make our living. You
Right.
can have everything at the top because we can't get there sometimes. You can take everything at the top because you're 8 feet tall. We're not.
Yeah.
You leave the tree alone because that's ours. And they have these working truces, multiple families. They just talk to them. There were some pissed off people screaming and yelling at them, but once they got their point across, it was okay, lady, okay, you're mean human. I mean, you yelled louder than I thought you could. Okay, and so they have these uneasy truces like that, but they respect that they can come and take food off their fruits and vines and trees. They can come and do it as long as you take what we tell you can and don't rob us of all our food.
I wonder,
So
like, whenever they're talking to these Sasquatch, you say that they have like this little truce with each other, and that they're talking to them, but if they don't understand like English, if they're just picking up on body language type, or
that's it.
maybe they have that sixth sense where they understand what's going on in the situation.
Yeah, they know our language quite well. They just speak their own. But they know, I guarantee you, if I'm yelling at you because you just ran a stop sign and I almost hit you, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. You don't have to hear a
Yeah.
word of it, right?
Yeah.
Including the hand gestures. you know, so they have this worked out. It's not. They know what we're thinking. They know what we're saying by, if virtue of nothing else, our mannerisms. What does this mean? You're holding a baby, you're
Yeah,
rocking.
on the baby.
Certain things you just know, and they're watching them. These families, they're watching them as they do their daily work around the farm, around the property. It's just funny. I mean, I've got so many stories, I don't even know what to tell you. I had some great pictures, but I can't show them in this format. But it's just
Yeah.
like mind-boggling the stuff that's going on. And so again, the dumb ape theory explains about three things out of 10,000. It explains nothing virtually,
Mm.
you know. And the government, lying to us. They know all about them. They know where they are, what they're doing, and why they're here, and all of that stuff. They know that, and they're just lying to us. But that's beating a dead horse. We'll never
That's
know.
another whole.
Yeah, I was actually
They'll
I was actually going to ask you, like with all these sightings and them being in the area, have you ever talked to any of these families where officials, like official, unofficial officials got involved?
none, none,
Never.
none, none,
That's
none whatsoever. But they don't
that's
know where they
weird.
are. They don't know where they are because I'm not. Now, if they
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to,
that's true.
they don't know where they are. Now, some of these people
What's going on, everyone?
called in.
It's Tony Mars with the Melted Broadcast. If you or anyone you know would like to come on the show and talk about your experience, maybe you've experienced paranormal, maybe you've been studying ancient history or the forbidden knowledge all your life, maybe you're a spiritual teacher. If you'd like to come on the show, you can reach me at themeltedbroadcast@gmail.com or hit us up on the website at www.themeltedbroadcast.com. Peace.
Some of these people called in originally to BFRO and left a report. Many didn't. They got to me by word of mouth. But so if you've got a report that you called in to BFRO hoping to hear from a researcher, you might have your data breached by if the government was really adamantly looking into it.
Yeah.
Why do
They,
you
they
think
could
it?
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask what since you mentioned the government, like why do you think the government or institutions avoid these topics?
Well, because there's far more to them, and that's why they've been labeled as a dumb ape. There's far more to them. If I got into some of the stuff I know and or believe,
Mhm.
that these are uh, probably crossbred with, Anunnaki and the humans that were here a quarter of a million years ago. I can go on to all kinds of theories,
Now you're
but
talking my language.
That's the first
there
I've
you
heard
go.
that theory about the
They
crossbreeds with the
have
Anunnaki, so that's good.
they have so much knowledge,
Mhm.
and why they're keeping them from us, because I believe there's a connection with off planet and other beings, other entities that they just
Yeah.
do not want us to know about. Why
Yeah,
all the people are disappearing in the parks, missing 411, the
yeah, I was
camp.
about to say that.
Where are they all going? Well, we make good subjects, we make good meals. If it's Dogman and ETs, the ETs are supposed to be living in all the cave system, Dulce, New Mexico, and all that stuff. The ETs are living in caves. The Sasquatch could easily be living in caves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
eh, You know,
The first
and
I've heard
so
anyone say this, or because this is what I was trying to articulate back in other podcasts when we were talking about, if there was any kind of like relationship or crossover between the other side, the
Mhm.
phenomenon or
Yeah.
Anunnaki and stuff. But yeah, this is the first time I've
Well,
heard it,
yeah,
which is
well, even whenever
great.
you bring up Anunnaki, me and her had this conversation like a week ago, and I was thinking, we're talking about Sasquatch, and I was like, who the first recorded Sasquatch in my mind was? So the Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is over there doing his thing. The gods
Mhm.
are mad at him. So they create another being that's just like him, but it's half human, half beast, hair all over the body. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the story, but he ends up dying or whatever. But whenever you look into it and you're reading it, like they describe him as a legit Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there's a really good book to read if you have a pen. Everything You Know Is Wrong. Maybe you've heard of it.
I've heard
By
people tell me that.
Lloyd Pye.
Oh, I know, little boy.
Lloydpye.
Okay.
There's a chapter in there that specifically addresses the Anunnaki crossbreeding the Sasquatch with their race to make humans so we could help them mine gold,
Yes,
to
I've heard
help
that.
them protect their atmosphere on their planet, Narubu.
Yeah,
Right.
Zachariah Sitchin talks about it.
Yeah, Sitchin's too. His is more no, but Lloyd Pye, and one of the chapters is he's all over Sitchin too. I mean, it's and his second book, there's everything is still wrong. It's a sequel.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I never really
It's a
heard too many.
really
Yeah,
good book to read. It goes into the Anunnaki thing in great detail. I'm probably not explaining it note for note, but it explains that, and it explains so much about the things, because I have several witnesses, my habituation folks, that see UFOs right before or right after a Sasquatch event, or they will see a Sasquatch right before or right after a UFO event.
yeah, I
They
always hear that.
They've seen a flying craft that went over their property, 100 yards long. It was the length of a football field. It was like a long bullet. They've seen orbs, flashes of light, small craft, stuff landing on their property, orbs landing on their property, bouncing around, flitting around, doing zip, 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 just all kinds of stuff. And that's Sasquatch related. That's them coming and going. They say that's how they come to visit us sometimes, is they come as orbs, and I will see them disembark from an orb and suddenly they grow into their full form and there they are. Or they'll see them back down into an orb. Boom, they're gone.
So now that we're kind of waiting, like we're in that going in that direction.
I know where you're going.
Yes, because you know where I'm going. Take me back to 1959.
In Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
You led right into that one, sir.
No,
You thought I
no
was
matter
going
what
to
I say, I lead there. I can't help it.
You thought I was going to let you go.
Just the book.
Baptized by Abduction. Abduction.
Yep, that's me. Okay. Yes, I've been abducted by aliens. It started, best I can tell, in 1958 or 59. Now, I'm 74 and a half. Call me 75. I'll be 75 in September. I didn't find out until I was born in 1951. I did not find out anything about this at all. I knew nothing until 2004.
Wow.
I lived my entire life with all these little weird things I kept seeing or remembering, but not sure, and blah 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 blah. So I'll tell you how we found out. It's quite funny, actually. Now, 2004, my wife and I and another couple were sitting around a house here in Kansas City, had a nice meal. We're sitting there going, I wonder, I've always thought I had a past life. I wonder if we could find a regressionist and see if we all had past lives, because we all believed we had, my wife and the other couple, Nancy and Steve. So literally in 2004, I pulled out my phone book. Yeah, we still had phone books. And so literally I looked up hypnotic regression, and there was category. There was weird enough. I thought, well, that's weird. So maybe I'm supposed to find this. So anyway, I looked up one, and she was about 30 miles east of town. We looked her up, and we went out the next day, Saturday, and we went. And she has an old barn that's made into her studio. And she also has a big giant maze cut into the hay out in the yard. So you get there and you kind of walk the maze and you meditate and chant and calm down and get relaxed, get ready for your hypnotic regression. And you just sit out there and soak up the vibe until it's time for you to go in. You go in, and we're all four in there. There's cameras. There's no cameras. There's cassette where she's recording on cassette. No cameras back then. Well, there was, she just didn't have the technology. So we're all recorded. All of us were recorded. We watched each other go under. My wife could not go under, control issues. Some people cannot be hypnotized because of control issues. I don't want somebody in my head jacking with me. Go away.
Yeah.
Can't go
Sounds
under.
like me.
Control freak. Yeah. And so Steve went under. He had one very interesting past life. Nancy went under. She had two very interesting past lives. And she was actually a healer because she had lupus, and so she'd been learning some kind of hands-off type of ways to heal yourself and have a positive attitude with
Yeah.
a disease like that. So
Mhm.
anyway, then it was my turn, and it took her forever, and I was twitching and just turning and just acting
Just
miserable.
give in.
No, 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 leave me alone. You know, so, but I was just, I was not wanting. I was like I was fighting it, but it was very animated. I was, what are you doing? And I started talking like a little 8-year-old kid. And what are you doing? Leave me alone. What are you doing? And I said some choice, dirty words. What are you doing? Get your hands off. Man, what are you doing to my friend? Stop it. Boom. So, I don't know how long I was under, but she got me out, and I wake up and I've got tears running down my face. And everybody in there, I'm like, what happened? And everybody's looking at me like I'm looking at you, like, what did we just see? What the hell is going on here? And the regressionist, we were about her 5th customer ever. She had
Oh
just started
wow.
business. So one of the first ones she gets is an alien abduction. She had no idea what to do. It was hilarious.
Oh, no.
I mean, and long story short, we're friends now. I've done a lot of podcasts, paranormal podcasts, and she's there too. So one day I show up and she's putting up her booth next to me. I'm going, Toby, Carter? And we caught up after 10 or 12 years. It's funny, Anyway,
Wow.
so we go back, just my wife and I, the next day, which is Sunday, because I wanted to make sure this was real. Nancy and Steve went on. By the way, we never saw Steve and Nancy ever again.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty
What?
sure that just freaked the holy, what out of them. So anyway, but anyway, we went back, and sure enough, it happened. It did happen. And the very first time it happened, me and my buddy Craig, I won't say his last name because he's still alive, and I think I know that he knows what happened. He just doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. So me and him were racing our bikes, Dallas, Texas, hot, sunny afternoon, probably July, just hot. And we were just racing, just being 2 kids, being dumb, just having fun, racing. Well, we run a stop sign right in front of my house, and this car goes by, and my shirt is flapping in the wind. The car, it's so close. Yeah, both our shirts are like, oh my God, how'd that miss us? We were looking at each other like, oh, we're going to get in trouble. Well, that car didn't kill us, but my mom's at home right across the street. If she sees that, she's going to kill us. So we'll be dead either way.
Mm.
Oh, we were taken that day aboard the craft. Now, they had been taking Craig long before I came along, 2 or 3 years, perhaps. And I was just happened to be with him the day they were taking him. Now, they told me that the only reason they took me was because, and this was a really kind of a good science lesson here. We were so close together as we were riding our bikes. When they abduct you, or at the time when they abducted you, you were demolecularized.
Yeah.
Mm.
Put back together when you got into the shell of the ship, or the ship was demolecularized and we passed. And so they put us back together once we
Just
had,
like on Star Trek.
yeah, that was pretty much it. And so when I got in the craft, I could see them doing stuff to Craig. And it was like I was watching through a cheesecloth. It was like I could see, but it was obfuscated a little bit. I couldn't see, it's like looking through a gauze pad.
Right.
I could see what they were doing. He was screaming bloody murder. There's blood spurting out of his neck,
What were they doing to him?
Just that I don't know at the time, but they were probably taken blood samples. We were used, just I'll fast forward to answer that question. We were used for hybridization.
Mm.
They were
I
making
was
little
going to
aliens.
ask you that because
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh,
They were making babies out of us.
yeah, I was going to ask you because so one thing that I noticed with all the abductees that we've done, and they talk about this, and for the males, they're in that age, the group, like the 8 to 12, you know, when they first have their experience or that they remember that first experience of
Yeah.
being abducted.
Uh-huh.
So it's a pattern, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
That's how what
uh,
I've been. That's. I mean, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. You guys are more experts at this than I am, but that's what I've
come
noticed.
with me next time I get abducted, and you can see firsthand.
You know,
I'll
I can't say that I have or haven't. I know that I have lost about almost 8 hours, 8.5 hours of time once.
yeah. I don't
I
have any
mean, and we
memory
have
that I'm aware of.
experiences. We're experiencers ourselves. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
mention about
Yeah,
the
but
around
that's
that
what they
age
were
range.
doing was taking blood, best I could tell, and I start screaming. I'm just going, "No, you're not! No, get your hands off of him! What are you doing? What are you doing?" That's when I was reliving that moment when I got hypnotized the first time. I was reliving that very moment, I
Mm.
guess, because I was screaming about, "What are you doing to my friend?" And that's the very first thing I said when I had the second abduction was I was in a cocoon. They put me in this cocoon embryo type thing, basically, so I couldn't move around and scream and hurt myself.
Mm.
And they wanted to keep me from spreading my germs to them and from them spreading their germs to me. So I was wrapped in this embryo. Well, I didn't know what the hell they were doing. I couldn't move and I was freaking out.
Yeah.
So they came and cut me out with a red laser. They came and cut me out.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
And I
That
fell
they're,
on.
yeah.
That's the first time I ever saw a laser pointer. I play with my cats with one every day. Every day, every day I play with the cats. Oh, I could tell you some stories about this, buddies. But so I fell out on the floor, and after that, I don't remember anything. They probably did whatever they were doing to Craig. They did to me. But so here's what happened. For 26 years, I was a real estate agent. And so you go to a lot of mixers, sales meetings and, happy hours or open houses where you're trying to get more clients, more business, and you're talking to other realtors and you start talking small talk. Well, you always talk about stupid stuff you did as a kid that could have got you killed, but didn't.
Right.
So my story was, and I had no idea when I'm telling this until 2004, that the story I told all my real estate life
Oh shit.
was me and my friend running a stop sign and almost getting killed and run over by a car because that's all I knew.
Mm.
Other friends would say, "Well, I was cleaning around my dad's shop and I grabbed a wire and it was stuck in a light socket and I almost got electrocuted." Or somebody said, "Well, I was cleaning a gun with my dad and there was a bullet in the chamber and the gun went off and the bullet was by
Oh
my."
wow.
Everybody's telling stories. It's stupid things you did as a kid that could have got you killed. It's just small talk.
Mhm.
So that's what we're talking about. So I told that story up until 10 years ago. I quit telling it because I knew what it was. And
And well, now go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, since then, because I know when a lot of people have these abduction stories, especially when it comes to the hybridization program, they're later on, picked up again and introduced to whether it be hybrid children or just other hybrid family. Has that ever happened to you?
No, although that might be where I met my ex-wife. I'm not sure. Sorry. No, I never have been shown my babies. And here's an oddity is that I know a lot of researchers, female, and if I mentioned a couple of names, you'd probably recognize them. And I won't mention them, obviously. But I contacted and they said, "Can I talk to you?" And they get one of my books, and they will describe being lifted out of their bed
Mhm.
as a young woman, floated out the window.
I think I know where you're going.
You know how it's going. They're
Yeah.
going up to the craft. they're inseminated
Mhm.
and then brought back.
Yeah.
The baby matures about 4 months. That's their gestation period. They
Mhm.
come back, take the fetus out of the girl, the woman,
Mhm.
and then several times, several of these women have been shown taken just to show them their offspring,
Right.
and they can
Uh,
tell that that's part me and part you.
mhm. Yeah, there's one in particular. She did a podcast, and I don't know if she's still alive, but I can't remember her name. I think her name was Patty, but she was in the Navy. She was in service, and she had a similar situation like that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, and then they go to the hospital, and the doctors do, the checks to see how the baby's doing, and there's literally nothing there. It's just gone.
Well, one of the girls was a girl. She was a virgin when she was impregnated, and the baby was taken out before the parents noticed.
Oh wow.
So she hadn't got much more than a baby bump. I think she was 13, 14. She said, I was a virgin. I did not know how this was happening to me. And they probably realized that, and they may have come sooner rather than later and gotten that fetus out of her,
mm,
because, you know, I was a virgin. I didn't even know what would it be. Did I have a tumor? You know, and but that happens, and people are becoming aware of this, and this is why I write the books. This is why I write the Sasquatch books, because people are sitting on this information that we as humans should have. Our
Yeah.
government is lying, the military is lying, everybody and their mother is lying, and why you can you can speculate all over the place. You'll probably be right 75% of the time. So a lot of people are going through this and they just have nowhere to go. And that's why I said, tell me. So I'll sell some books and people start reading the books and that'll give, I have a few people that have called me up and told me, I read your book and I got a story. So if I'm going to write another abduction book, I don't plan on it, but I might. I have the data and people, because they want someone to talk to. Sasquatch, Dogman, abductions, who's not going to reveal who they are, where they are, what their name is, where they live,
Yeah.
photos,
right.
because that's how you get ridiculed.
Oh yeah. I
You
mean, we
know,
see it all the time with people that we bring onto the show, and just people, outside of the show that we know in the community. I mean, it happens all the time.
Mm,
yeah, yep.
that's true.
So,
I,
uh, question?
no, I know we have a few minutes left, but do you want to do rapid fire questions?
Yeah, sure.
We like to do this thing called rapid fire questions. We'll ask you some questions and you just give us a simple answer. Does that sound good
Okay.
to you?
I
You
don't know
want
if
Yeah,
I
go
can
for
do
it.
simple, but I'll try.
well, whatever you got. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
First question, scariest place you've ever investigated.
That would be the deep, deep, deep woods in Mark Twain National Forest here in Missouri during an ice storm.
Damn, an ice storm.
Wait, in the deep,
It,
deep
it
woods?
just
This
came
isn't
upon us.
rapid questions now because now I'm curious. What
Well,
happened?
we had no idea that the storm just came out of nowhere, and this was in December, and we were just in. Actually, in Missouri, it's still fairly decent up until late December. So this ice storm caught three of us off guard. We were camped, and the ice and the wind made our tent too heavy, and it collapsed. And we were trying to get a pole up and huddle together, and we had nowhere to build a fire because there was ice everywhere, and we
Mhm.
were hearing noises back in the woods in broad daylight that sounded, for the life of me, of some giant trees cracking. So that
Oh
was the
man.
thing. I've not been anywhere at night where I was afraid for myself or anything, but it was that would, because our radios wouldn't work, the roads were iced, we couldn't leave. It was not good.
I'd be more frantic than scared, I think.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess it can go hand in hand. Okay.
All right. One piece of gear you never go without.
Thermal.
Thermal.
Oh, did I say thermal? That when we're doing this, did I say he's going to say
Yeah,
thermal?
yeah, she did.
Damn, good. All
You're
right,
going to say
biggest.
what? You
No,
knew I
I
was going to say
said
that?
I knew you were going to say that before we
Well, yeah,
even
yeah.
were.
You know,
Yeah, so that'd be the first thing I take. All right, biggest misconception about Bigfoot researchers.
that they've actually been in the woods. Some have never set foot in the woods.
Like
Believe
the
me or not.
real woods, like up
Yeah,
north
real wood.
woods.
Not like, well, I'm taking out the trash and I got a big elm tree in my backyard. So, yeah, no, there are some guys that just throw up websites and podcasts and
Mm.
Facebook pages, and they've never been out. You can tell.
Yeah. All right. Favorite cryptid besides Sasquatch?
I'd go with Dogman.
Dogman?
It's just coming into my sphere of influence, and that's the next step.
Mm. One question you still desperately want answered.
I want to know if I have an alien baby. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that because
I actually had that question answered for me
yeah.
about a month ago, and I'm still waiting. Well, they've have visited me, but some of the other times that they have has been like truly terrifying, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I hope you do get that answer. I think everyone deserves definitely to have that
Mhm.
question answered. Do we have hybrid children? Some
Yeah.
of us are blessed that we have that answer, and some of us are still wondering. So I hope you do
Yeah.
get
Well,
that
they
answer.
show the women, but not the guys. I'm not sure why that is.
I've yet to be shown, if anything, if ever I've
Yeah,
been a part of that.
mine came in orb form. There was 7 of them,
Mhm.
and then physical form in at night whenever I was asleep. I didn't. I woke up, but I couldn't really see them. But one of them was hugging me. She had her head pushed into my neck, and I could feel the long hair. My body was paralyzed. I couldn't move or anything like that. But again, I try to think, don't be afraid when this happens. But when it does happen, it's it could be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to hurt you.
So okay.
So what's next for Carter Buschardt?
Well, I'm thinking about putting up my YouTube channel. I just don't because I just don't have the patience.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I really have so much stuff, and I'm hearing guys that are doing it and doing well monetarily. Other guys are saying they're crippling me every time I turn around. They're demonetizing. I'm not being able to make what I thought. I'm not getting to reach the audience I thought. And I
Yeah,
think I got shafted by YouTube. So I don't know which it is, as far as that goes. If you all have a YouTube channel, you can, explain that to me, but I just don't know
yeah.
how that
Well,
works.
well, whenever I started the show, I never went into it, with the mindset, like I'm doing this to get monetized or anything like that. It was something I enjoyed doing, and I love these topics. Being an experiencer myself, and kind of having the obsession with cryptids, Sasquatch, UFOs, ancient lost history, the forbidden knowledge, all that.
Sure.
I did it out of love, out of
Yeah.
a wanting for this.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
mean,
I don't
it's
care
it's
about
going
making
good.
money. I don't care about making money. I've got my books. I'm not in this for the money. I just want to make sure I get to the readers I'm trying to reach.
Yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
hearing conflicting stories
Yeah,
of how well they are cooperating or allowing you to do this. And you're not really trying to make money, but you happen to make money doing this, but you're not doing it the way we want you to. So we're going to take that away. Well, I wasn't trying to do. I mean,
yeah,
it's. I need to do more research on it. So,
yeah. Because
but if I was going to do that, that would be what's next for me.
that's awesome, man. I would say just go for it. I mean, we don't make any money off of this. It's more of a thing to bring people in the community closer,
Yeah.
and like I tell everybody that I bring on here, to have a platform and a voice, a place for people to talk and tell their story that is safe.
Hmm.
That, and also for people to know, for having guests like you, come on, and all the people that we've had come on, share their story and their knowledge. And that's basically sharing that knowledge with the others out there that want to receive the information, So that's,
Mhm.
that's really why we do what we do, besides what Tony just mentioned. But
Yeah.
yeah, sure. All right. So where can listeners find your books and follow your work?
I took down my website. Too many people were stealing photos and using them for their own. Gee, shocking.
Right.
Guys, come
Uh,
on,
but
y'all do better.
yeah, my
Don't do that.
email is the only way to reach me. It's SQ Sasquatch, SQ Explorer at gmail.com. Real easy.
I don't know why I'm writing it down. We literally have that.
I know. And where can we purchase your book? Because I want to get the abduction one.
From me directly. I'm self-published. I publish all my books. I have a
Okay.
really good printer. This has no photos in it. It's just
Yeah,
a
that's fine.
regular, but the Sasquatch books, they're all full color, glossy paper, really nice. There's no fiction in any of my books. If you don't believe it, I feel sorry for you, because none of these people are lying. These are genuine, real
Yeah.
events happening with real people, and you either have to believe it or not. I sent you one of the photo. I'll send you an email with the photo I was trying to show you in this book,
Okay.
and one other photo, but just don't share.
Yeah, for sure. And
But
if you can send me whatever link it is, so I could purchase that book. I'll get it
okay,
today.
yeah, I'll send you an email.
All right, cool. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Carter, for coming on. We had a very interesting and a great conversation, and maybe do a part two and get some more updates on what's going on with those families and what's going on with
Yeah,
you.
I've got so many stories. You could talk to me once a week for the rest of the year. It wouldn't be enough. You still, I've just, and I'm a talker, but I get to
Yeah,
know, deep down, and I truly love the people I know, I've met, because they're just good
yeah,
people, and they feel so lucky and blessed to be having this big old hairy ape, living on their property, and they can
yeah.
deal with them whenever they want.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
awesome.
bizarre, totally bizarre.
That's bizarre and beautiful.
So beautiful and blissful.
Yeah, it's great. It gives me serenity at night, because lets me know I'm helping some people and getting word out, and the more you do that, it's a gift that keeps on giving. It's
Yeah, for
amazing.
sure.
Amazing.
Yes.
So,
That's why I
but I'll
love
send
doing.
you an email here, and as soon as we're hung up and all done, I'll send you an email about the books and everything.
All right,
Perfect. Thank you so much, Carter.
sounds
We
good.
appreciate it.
Thank you so
Enjoy
much,
it,
Carter.
guys.
We'll talk to you
Let's
later,
do it again.
man.
All right, man.
Bye.
We'll see you guys.
Peace.
People say that I'm one of the greats, I'm the one that you love to hate. Shake 'em up like a quake, pop your feelings and turn and dispose them like haters I throw away. I'm forever blessed, got the spirit that's wholly controlling me, I ain't gotta coordinate. I just sit back and book my bills and I'm ready to blaze in the stars of my destination. Melted, broadcast, open vision. Melted, broadcast, open vision. Melted, broadcast, open vision.
Melted, broadcast, open vision.